I hope that you could hear me. So, Esther vilenkin gives a hair covering class, and she says this head covering is called kisei harosh, kisvi harosh. The source in the Torah is the pasuk on the sota, where it says they uncover and dishevel her hair, meaning it was previously covered. Das Moshe is from the Torah. Das Yehudis was from the women, the knowledge of the women, that they cover all the hair. Hair is considered erva, naked, by the Gemara on a pasuk from Shir Hashirim, and the Mishnah says she can be divorced if she doesn't cover her head. Kalta refers to a basket weave or a kerchief. According to Das Moshe, it was okay, but according to Das Yehudis, or the woman's knowledge, they required a second layer when they went outside. It's called a redid, a higher layer. Also, when they would expose a tefach, about 3 to 4 inches, it's called peruras rosh. Lubavitcher rebbe says a shiltei is much more than that's as much as that's the max you're allowed to. Okay, the Lubavitcher rebbe says a shiltei is much better than a tichel, etc., because it doesn't expose any hair at all. Shiltei is like a wig, and tichel is a head covering, like a scarf or a beret. Even the payos, the sideburns like this, have to be covered in front of a non-husband. And in the Zohar III, page 126a, it blesses the woman who covers her head, where even the wool shouldn't see a hair in her head, with superior kids, the husband blessed with spiritual material blessings, and with wealth, children and their children's children. Even when the hair is connected to the scalp, it's considered erva. For a wig, you could use your own hair from another woman. The shiltei giborim on the Rif, Shabbas 375, and ein mishpat on Nazir 28b. Plus, the woman's hair constitutes an erotic stimulus, only with hair visibly connected to the scalp. The sages say that the evil inclination only rules on something that directly is attached to the woman's body herself, for these things have life. That's from Yaskil, Avdi response section, haezer 16. Rabbi M. Weiner in kvuda melech, page 65. The rebbe shares that the clothing of the head is like the clothing of the foot. The wig is like a shoe, not like her hair. For foreplay, the wife uncovers her hair, but during intimacy, both husband and wife must cover their heads. In the sefirot, which we also know is the attributes, but really we would say l'saper also means to communicate. Sefirot means like the lights, the spheres. Anyway, everything has its origin in the supernal source. It's like puppet strings that we are all the way down here. Yet when we make choices, quote unquote, down here, it affects, it pulls and moves the above. The feminine contains, conceals, and creates. It nurtures collaboration and speech and brings something out. And the hair laws, like the Nazirites, the kings, the priests, the Levium, Eshes Yefas, Toar, and the beards. So these are all the places in the Torah where we learn laws. The hair follicle is like a teardrop kind of under the skin and then pokes through. So it's like a straw for the klipa, the husk, the negative energy, or it drinks out of it. It's like drinking from the hairs, because everything has in spiritual matters an access point, a shade, a tone. So the Tzemach Tzedek says hair comes from an excess intellectuality. Therefore, their spiritual level is dependent on the source from which they're drawn down. The male beard sourced in the inner keter, the crown's inner dimension, Atika Kadisha, while the nukva hairs are sourced in Malchus, so they can nurture a klipa. And that's the containment, the concealment forces. And it draws the holiness down from there into the world, the male, while the female, it's like drawing it out. So it's fragile, it's vulnerable, because it's able to be like a straw for a married woman, and potential versus actual. So in the potential, when she wasn't married, it was okay. But when she's actually married, it's not. Now it's actually coming out. Who has been unified with their other half? So it's like Malchus with all the other sefirot are so Malchus is like the feminine, while all the other sefirot are masculine. So the klipa cannot drain from them except by the woman's uncovered hairs. And creativity mirrors the divine creation, the possibility, the infinity. And if we really want to understand, like some analogies, you'd say like the sun is thousands of miles away, right? You move just a little tiny bit of the sun, and on Earth, it really, really is drastic. And yet, like, it moves just a few inches, it makes a big difference. Also, when you push a tiny button, you could release a rocket ship, right? So these are small things that have big changes. And up there, let's say, Speech contains so much compressed energy also. It's like a little thing that comes out and makes a massive difference. And then the masculine, the preceding sphira, which is like they're poured into the feminine, which is malchus. The way that God created the world, the male was poured into the feminine. And I'm going to continue with the next topic, which is from Richard Shwartz. And I think it's a good tie-in, and we'll stop there. But Richard Shwartz, he basically, in order for us to understand, he says relationship wisdom. So when we see someone as a potential partner after coming out of a family or shamed by a parent who resembles the person from family in a way, they're nice to me, they seem to value or like me, there's a euphoria and infatuation, because it might mean I'll be redeemed because they resemble the original caretaker, and it feels like I'm not going to die because it's the original shame made me feel I'm going to die, and it's like the original caretaker changed their mind. We often get attached to someone who does resemble one of the parents, and it turns out that they do hurt us in the same way, and then the protector parts of us go into the various projects, like to change the person back to who they're supposed to be, the redeemer, and we start aiming all change attempts to get them to stop being mean, which usually backfire. And 2, we change ourselves so they'll like me again and be honest, be nice to me again. And 3, we give up on them as the redeemer, begin believing that the real redeemer is still out there, and we go out looking for their true redeemer. Or 4, after getting burned enough, we give up on getting it from the outside person, replace it with work, drugs, alcohol, or something else to deal with this exiled pain and shame inside. And another option is to become the primary caretaker to our own parts. Like someone else in the couple can be like the secondary external caretaker. And I want to stop here. I know it doesn't seem like it fully translates from the previous one, but I thought it would be a good transition, like into the real practical world of how like those exiled parts where the energy is pulling. It's like the emotional aspect. It's like those parts of us, like that energy can draw. It's drinking out of them like a straw. Versus when we actually become the caregiver. In other words, we actually take care of that part. In this case, it would be, according to the Jewish Torah, it seems like it would mean covering the woman's ear when she's married, so that this energy doesn't feed anything that's not for actually potential, and it doesn't give energy to that which could be used for negativity. And that's all for, and to remind us that a little is a big deal. A little can make a big difference. All right, okay. Bye. Have a good night and Shavua Tov, a productive, successful week. May we rectify and heal any areas where we may have lost control or had anger and caused damage, and may it all be revealed that it was all for the best. And may we have faith. And may everybody who feels lonely or yearning be united with that true peace and oneness. Amen. Can you hear it sound?